Good afternoon, everyone. Before we start our discussion, I would like to request Mr. Alan to lead the prayer. Amen. How are you, everyone? Okay, good to know. Today, I will be going to discuss four topics, and I want everyone to listen carefully. And if you have some notebook beside you, then kindly jot down some important information. So now let's start with our first presentation. So I'll be sharing my screen to you so that you'll be able to see our presentation. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so let's start. So for our first topic, we have K to 12 curriculum framework. We have three parts: introduction, salient features of K to 12 curriculum, and teachers' roles into the K to 12 curriculum. So introduction. So our country implemented K to 12 program for us to what? Okay, for us to improve or for us to compete with other countries internationally. So it is a program which includes kindergarten and 12 years of basic education, 6 years in elementary, 4 years in junior high school, and 2 years in senior high school. For what? For us to have enough opportunities to master the concepts and skills, grow lifelong learners, and train graduates for tertiary education, middle level skills growth, jobs, and entrepreneurship. So the implementation of this K to 12 is intended for us to contribute the growth of our country in a variety of ways because we assume that if we want to improve our country, we must improve the standard of our education. Because improving our education contribute or has a great impact to our country's or to our nation's success. So there are four prerequisites for the graduate must attain or must obtain at the end of the course. Or these are some relevant qualifications for those graduate in a K-12 curriculum. First, they must master the information, media, and technology skills, learning and innovation skills, effective communication skills, and life and career skills. So now let's move to the silent features of K-12. So K-12 has main elements and it is carefully taken to ensure all the teachers education courses follow the demand of the 21st century for us to incorporate the technology into our learning and teaching process so that we can compete and our students can develop a 21st century skills for them to be also competitive with others. So first is the strengthening early childhood education or the universal kindergarten. We apply technology in kindergarten department by implementing or by delivering some topics through games, song and dances so that the kids or the child or their interest will be parang makuha natin yung interest ng mga bata for them to be actively participate in our class. So second is making the curriculum relevant to the learners or contextualization and enhancement. So according to Briggs, 2014, he shared some few tips for making learning engaging and personally relevant. First is use suspense and keep it fresh. Second, make it student directed. Third is it to their lives and what they already know. Fourth is provide utility values. Fifth is build relatedness. So now the third one is building proficiency or the mother tongue based multilingual education. When K to 12 curriculum is implemented, our elementary level offered a mother tongue, which is the usage of our our first or our initial language or our first taught language, so that the students can easily understand the topic and they can easily acquire knowledge regarding to our lessons. Fourth one is ensuring integrated and seamless learning or spiral progression. It is like learning from simplest to hardest. Next is gearing up for the future. So K to 12 develop some specialized subjects or courses so that the graduates or the students will be prepared for the future. We do have academic, sports, art and design, technological vocational livelihood tracks. And lastly, the nurturing the holistically developed Filipino or college and livelihood readiness in the 21st century skills. So sorry for the noises of the dog. So in that way, it helps the ICT helps the learners to acquire creativity, good communication skills, and life career skills, so that when they graduate, they can easily get job, or if they want to pursue higher education, then they can be prepared for the career that they want. So for those students who want to get job after finishing the grade 12, they can take the course TechVoc or the technical vocational track. But if they want to pursue higher education, they can also pursue or have the academic strands, which are the UMS, ABM, or STEM, or there are also GAS. So the next part is the teacher's role in K to 12 to curriculum. So teacher is the most important or the most critical role in the curriculum because they are the one who plan, introduce, and review the program or the activities that they will implement or that they will deliver to the students. So in our country here in the Philippines, teachers are all required to participate in curriculum development so that they can ensure that K-12 curriculum is implemented in the most effective way possible to achieve the desired learning outcomes. So as you can see in the picture, you will see the teacher that teaches the children, right? And it says a million or a thousand of words by just seeing that picture. Because without a teacher, there's no other profession. There will be no doctors, no engineers, and other because teachers teacher are the most noblest profession among all because they are the one who nurture, develop, and prepare students for their professions, for their chosen professions someday. So that's it for our first for our first presentation. So now let's move to the second one. So for our second topic, we have ICT pedagogy integration in language learning plan. So we have four parts: introduction, integrating technology in instruction, information and communication technology, and lastly, using ICT integration frameworks in language education learning plans. So introduction. So education expanded and critical skills have increased and changed. So teaching is always been a difficult career. So being a teacher, it is the most hardest profession among all because they are the one to create instructional tools that supports the teaching and learning process of the students so that they can meet the desired learning outcomes for them in graduating. And by that, they use instructional materials or they use technology for for instructional materials in the classroom to set values and theories. And also by that, teacher must understand the concept so that technology can aid them effectively and can expect their learners to achieve the learning outcomes. So the second part is integrating technology in instructions. So in this slide, there are lots of authors or theorists or philosophers that proposed or that have ideas and what are the integrating technology in instruction. So as John Pisapia in 1994, he says that using learning tools is to add, improve, complement, and expand skill is referred to as integrating technology with teaching. And he offers various units. The first unit is computer science courses, computer assisted instructions, computer enhanced or enriched instructions, matching software with basic skill competencies, keyboarding with word processing followed up with point presentations like what we are using right now. Next is the International Society of for Technology in Education. The third one is Margaret Lloyd in 2005. And the fourth one is by Kiwin Wang and Wu Aolit Wu in 2007. And the fifth one is by Bernard Bahati in 2010. And lastly is by the UNESCO. So all these statements is explain what are integrating or how integration of technology works in our teaching and learning process. So now let's move to information and communication technology or the ICT. So there are also several authors that offers or the proposed or that share their ideas what is ICT. So for Mersant in 2005, he says that ICT encompasses the entire spectrum of computer, hardware, software, and telecommunication services. And he says that digital cameras, video games, CDs, DVDs, mobile phones, telecommunications, satellites, and fiber optics are among the items included in ICT. And also computerized machinery, computerized robots are included. We talk about ICT, it is very broad. It is a very broad topic to be discussed. So, according to TINU 2009, he refers ICT as a collection of technological tools and resources that are used to communicate, develop, distribute, store, and manage data. And also, according to UNESCO 2020, same as TNU, it refers to a broad range of technical tools for transmitting, collecting, building, distributing, and exchanging of data. According to Ratheswari 2018, that all facets of human life is influenced by ICT and communication technologies. Because technology, for example, we are using cell phones, computers, and other technologies to make our job or our work easily. So ICT is important in the workplace, in education, in entertainment, and so much more. So now let's move to the using ICT integration framework in language education learning plans. So the first framework we have is the conversational framework of Lurilayad 2002. Okay, sorry for the notification. So the teaching and learning process is extremely difficult to master since it is requires students to comprehend their lessons and acquire the skills that they are supposed to demonstrate. Yes, absolutely. As a result, it would be comforting if teachers investigate how to use different media to promote various learning experiences in the classrooms. Is one way in which the conversational framework can help. So there are five keys that these frameworks identified for teaching and learning events. So first is acquisition, practice, dialogue, discovery, and creation. And they are also specifically for teaching strategies, learning actions or experiences, related media forms, for example, non-computer based activities, and also examples of computer based activities. So the second framework is the fundamental elements of the ICT integration by Wang 2018. So Wang ICT integration framework could be completely utilized in development of language learning plans since pedagogy refers to the language teaching strategies or techniques that language teachers employs in order to deliver lessons and enable their students to show curricular language competencies. So there are um, elements that this framework proposed. First is learner. Learner is the target of the frameworks. The second is the pedagogy. When we talk about pedagogy, it is the interaction with the content to the learners. Or it is the strategy or the method or the approach that the teacher uses in delivering the lesson. And the third one is the social interaction. It is the interaction with the learners and also with the teachers. And lastly is the technology. So technology supports the various learning activities such as television, um, PowerPoint presentations, laptops, also projectors. They technology supports any kind of activities that is related or that is integrated with technology. So the third framework is the categories for information, communication, and technology in teacher training. So this study shown that integrating ICTs into the classroom teaching can completely transform learning. Yes, it is absolutely correct. According to Haddad 2003, teachers' use of ICT encourages the growth of higher order thinking skills or the HOTS and cooperation. That is why training in ICT pedagogy integration is encouraged. So this framework encourages teachers to do some trainings in integrating technology in their classroom so that using technology or integrating technology in the pedagogy approach will make the classroom more conducive for learnings and can give the students more opportunity to learn or master some skills and talents. So June 2005 was able to categorize different types of ICT teacher training into four different groups. So as you can see, we do have core technology and complementary technology. So in learning how to use ICT, we have ICT as part of content or method, and learning via ICT, we have ICT as facilitating or networking technology. And for core technology, ICT as a main content focus or ICT and ICT as a core delivery of technology. So this training will create or will make the teacher or transform the teacher to be more capable in integrating technology into the classroom settings. So lastly is the UNESCO ICT competency framework for teachers. So the UNESCO was able to establish an ICT competence framework for teachers as a result of community that is increasingly dependent on the information and expertise as well as the widespread of information and communication of technology for teaching and learning. we cannot deny that technology is rapidly spreading because all of us or some of us are dependent in technology in terms in making our works and also for our studies. So UNESCO set competencies for teachers and for them to be able to fulfill their responsibilities in achieving they must achieve this following they must achieve the following social goals. So these are the social goals. We do have four social goals. First is to build expertise, create workforces with information and communication technology skills, as well as those who are reflective, innovative, and adaptable when it comes to problem solving. Second goal is people should be able to think critically and creatively, handle their lives efficiently, and achieve their full potential if they are knowledgeable and resourceful. Third is motivate all people in society to participate completely in the society and have a choice in the decision that affect their lives regardless of the gender, language, age, background, places, or different abilities. And lastly is encourage cross-cultural awareness, tolerance, and dispute resolution by peaceful means. So that's all for our second topic. So now let's move on to our third topic. So for our third topic, we have the inquiry-based learning and research-based learning. So inquiry and research-based learning are they're just like related and similar to each other. So again, we have four parts: introduction, nature of inquiry-based learning, role of the teacher, and role of the technology. So the acquisition of macro skills such as reading, writing, listening, speaking, and viewing are all included in the language learning. So again, what are the macro skills? Reading, writing, listening, speaking, and viewing. So now let's move to the nature of inquiry-based learning. So when we talk about inquiry, it is the act of raising questions, right? Okay, so today in our era, developing learners' capacity to ask questions is very critical. So that's why teacher must use inquiry-based learning so that the students will be able to develop their critical thinking skills as well as so, their other skills or other 21st century skills. So it is a method of teaching that entails students actively participating in the search of answers to some educational questions. So there are four types of inquiry. The structured inquiry, which is allow the students to follow the teacher's lead to participate so that the class can participate in a single investigation. Second is the controlled inquiry. The teacher will, the one who selects the subjects and resources, and the students will only be the one to use or to respond to the question. The third one is guided inquiry. The topics and the problems are chosen by the teacher, and the students will be the one to create the result or solution for the given topic or problem. And lastly is the free inquiry. The students are free to choose their own topics. So, so now let's move to the role of the teacher. So the role of the teacher is very important because they are the one who plan. They are the one who plan, who prepared, who implement the curriculum. So in IBL's effectiveness, it is largely dependent on the teacher's diligent preparation in relation to the program. So the teacher must be capable in many aspects so that she can also or she or he can also share some knowledge to his or her students. So the teacher will supervises and schedule the subjects for investigation. They will the one to guide the students by posing questions to be answered, and the learners are free to devise their own research methods and represents their findings using the technology resources available to them. So the teacher will be the one to facilitate the learning of his or her students. So in designing IBL, the teacher must consider the following areas, and it is proposed by Avsec and Kusi. I don't know how to read this one. In 2016. So the first one is prior knowledge and capacity. The second one is context. Learners require meaning from experiences. Third one is content and learning materials. The fourth one is process. The fifth one is strategy of reaction and behavior. And the sixth one, and lastly, the sixth one is the course or the course's outcomes. So now let's move to the role of technology. So the internet or the World Wide Web. We all know what is internet, right? Because today when we experience pandemic, we are all using internet connection in implementing our education. So the internet provides a variety of tools for data gathering or data mining. Because of this, because of the wide range of resources available, it has been the most sought after source of intelligence. For example of these are the Google, the Wikipedia, and other websites in the internet that offers lot of information that is helpful for us. So these websites are either online or offline, and they must promote the purpose of inquiry that is related to the learning competencies in the K to 12 curriculum, in a K to 12 language curriculum. So as you can see in this picture, the students are all using technologies under the supervised or under the supervision of the teacher, right? Okay. So without the teacher, the students will not be able to achieve the learning outcomes, and there will be no one can guide them in assessing or in acquiring their learnings. So that's all for this topic. So now let's move on to the problem-based learning and project-based learning. So in this presentation, we have four parts: nature of learning, nature of problem-based learning, benefits of problem-based learning, role of the technology, and lastly, the nature of project-based learning. So what is the nature of the problem-based learning? So it is an approach which entails a method of investigation and a resolution of an open-ended problems that act as a primary problem that the students will address. And it is also related or it is applied to our real life situations. So by Ali in 2019, he proposes five principles of the problem-based learning. First is it is a power of independent and self-directed learning. Second is learning happens in a group and a teacher is a facilitator. Third one is all groups have to participate equally. Fourth one is students learn about motivation, teamwork, problem solving, and engagement with the task. And lastly is materials such as data, photographs, articles can be used to solve the problem. When we talk about problem-based learning, it is all about the teacher will give the students a problem and they will be the one to give a solution or answers to that problem. And that solutions or answer is related to our real life situations. So we also have six stages processes used in adoption of online PBL by Lu in 2009. So the first one is we must identify the problem. And after identifying the problem, we will brainstorm with our group mates. And after brainstorming, here we come in collecting and analyzing the information that is gathered, and we need to synthesize the information that we also gathered. And after synthesizing the information, we can now proceed to co-building knowledge and lastly refining the outcomes. So now let's move to the benefits of the problem-based learning. So there are lots of offered benefits in this in the book, but I only get the benefits of problem-based learning by Goffrin and Irma Wati in 2018. So they proposed yes, nine benefits. The first is the PBL promotes self-confidence and motivation. It reduces the student's responsibility in learning. It increases the student's responsibility in learning. It makes the students easily learn the material via sharing of ideas or by brainstorming. It promotes problem solving skills. It promotes self-directed learning. It promotes active learning. Makes students explore many learning resources because by researching and by finding the answers to that problem, the students will explore to any learning resources so that they can process a solution that is suitable for the problem. And lastly, it makes the students develop positive attitude towards the learning. So now let's move to the role of the technology. So first, let's know what is technology. So technology is refers to the techniques, expertise, processes, and procedures employed in manufacture of products and services, as well as achievement of goals such as science researches. It can be implemented in machine to enable them to function without requiring extensive knowledge of their internal workings. So for example, technologies are cell phones or mobile phones, laptops, personal computers, projectors, televisions, and so much more. So in technology, the role of it in integrating in the problem-based learning is it serves as the productivity tool. So in solving problem, the learners and teachers can use these tools for blogging, presentations, spreadsheets, calendars, organizers, citations, and other. It helps them to complete necessary tasks and outputs from PBL activities. Also, there are free apps available for smartphones, tablet, and personal computers, such as websites or application. For example, right now we are using Google Classrooms for implementing our education or classes, Google Meet, Zoom, Messenger, and so much more. So now let's move to the nature of project-based learning. So the project-based learning began as an approach, but it has been developed into an instructional technique and evolves students with a set of pre-planned activities that lead the creation of solution to a real-world problem. And also, this project-based learning is based is a student-centered approach because it considers the range of the students' experiences and interests. And this approach is according to or is based on John Dewey's philosophy of learning by doing and also by Vygotsky constructivist theory of learning that is promote or which promote collective knowledge of acquisition. So the researchers proven that project-based learning is beneficial in developing various skills such as research methodology skills because we are finding answers to our real life world problems. We can use research methodologies in finding the answers. Also, oral communicative competence. And last is the development of life skills. And that's it. And that's all for this topic. And I hope everyone understand or everyone gets some information that is useful for our for our daily life. And I'm so very thankful for everyone for listening carefully to teacher, and wish you all God bless and good luck to your studies, and thank you once again. Goodbye, class. Have a good day.